Chemistry 1212. We're going to talk about standard enthalpy of formation. We're going to get through this. It's about 18 slides, and if you have questions, make sure you reach out. Let's just go ahead and jump right into it. Get going on it. So the first thing I want to talk about is Hess's law. Now, this experiment is going to investigate Hess's law of the transfer of heat. However, the calculated value will be the standard enthalpy of formation, okay? So we have an endothermic reaction, we have an exothermic reaction, and that shows you the difference in the change in heat. All right, this is the representation of the change in heat. When you see this triangle looking shape or triangle shape, that's going to be change in your heat, your H stands for heat, and your little circle up here at the top means standard conditions. That's what we're talking about. So just to throw it out there and kind of show you what we're working with. So we'll go back to that other slide, right? So Hess's law. We just want to remember that what Hess's law says is that if a reaction can be expressed as the sum of two or more reactions, then the heat flow for the overall reaction is going to be equal to the sum of the heat flows. I'm going to say this one more time. If a reaction can be expressed as the sum of two or more reactions, then the heat flow for the overall reaction is equal to the sum of the heat flows. Now, at constant pressure, the flow of heat is called enthalpy, and this experiment is done as constant pressure in the lab. So constant pressure, enthalpy. The standard enthalpy of formation is going to be defined as the enthalpy that's involved in the formation of 1 mole of compound from the corresponding elements as they're found usually at 25 degrees Celsius at 1 atmosphere pressure, which is going to be labeled as an ATM. As you move through here, your atmosphere is actually ATM. All right, so I don't typically do trivia in these lecture videos. However, I want to do something a little special for you guys. So here we have trivia. If we were doing this in class, we would get bonus points. We'd work it out. So this is what I want to do. I want to offer you a bonus opportunity with the trivia questions. I'm going to ask you some questions about the next slide. You're going to answer them on a piece of paper and bring it to lab with you at your next lab. All right. First question, number 1. What do the first 3 reactions have in common? Number 1. What do the first 3 reactions have in common? Number 2. What is different about number 1? What is different about number 1? Number 3. Does number 1 fall into the definition of a standard formation reaction? Does number 1 fall into the definition of a standard formation reaction? Number 2, the next one, I apologize. Does number 2 fit the definition? Does number 2 fit the definition? You guys can guess what the next question is. Does number 3 fit the definition? I want to know why for each of these also. Why does it fit the definition? Why does it not? And then the last question I want to know is, what's the deal with number 4? What's the deal with number 4? All right. So we're just going to go ahead and talk about a constant pressure again. So when magnesium metal is burned at constant pressure in the presence of oxygen, the heat evolved per mole of magnesium is the standard enthalpy of formation. Okay? The heat evolved per mole of magnesium is the standard enthalpy of formation. And here it shows for your MgO, okay, which is magnesium oxide. This is what you're going to see in the lab. Now, we're going to use Hess's law to devise an alternate practical method to determine the standard enthalpy of formation for magnesium oxide. And I'm taking us right back to Hess's law. You're going to see this slide a lot in this lab, okay? And this is what we're looking for. This is going to be one of the actual formulas you're going to see in the lab, and you're actually going to use this to answer some questions following in the lab report. So I do have one more trivia, okay? Okay, one more trivia. It's just 2 questions. You can tack it on to the same piece of paper. Again, this is voluntary. You do not have to do these trivia questions. It's just an opportunity to earn some bonus points if you want to. So my question is, 1, what is the difference between endothermic and exothermic? And 2, what does the little degree sign on the previous slide represent? You know which one I'm talking about. I already told you about it. So the reaction is exothermic and results in temperature change that can be easily measured in a coffee cup calorimeter. Make sure you record the temperature change resulting from the acid-base reaction, which is salt and water. This that you're actually seeing, right? This is what we're calling an exothermic reaction. Just make sure you record the temperature change that you get from the acid-base reaction, which is salt and water. You're going to use those results from these 2 reactions along with the standard enthalpy of formation of liquid, which is water, to calculate for magnesium, and you're going to use Hess's law. Again, I have kind of given it to you already. You're going to first, you're going to react the magnesium metal with dilute hydrochloric acid solution. This is going to form magnesium chloride in solution along with hydrogen gas. That's what you're looking at right here. All right, your mass total is the mass of everything in the calorimeter cup. Everything in the cup is going to be your mass total. Your C-sol, S-O-L, is your specific heat capacity of solution. So your S-O-L, or your sol, is short for solution. Your little triangle T is your change in temperature. And it's your final temperature minus your initial temperature. That's where you're going to find that. Your N here is going to be the product. The end product is the mole of the key product determined from your limiting reactant. There's an appendix, Appendix E. You're going to use that when you're going to calculate, while you're calculating the mass of the solutions for which you're going to only measure the volume. Your specific heat capacity of the dilute aqueous solution for H2O can be found there also. You'll be able to find that there also. All right, this is a reminder. When determining the limiting reactant, pay attention to the stoichiometry of the equations. We have moles to grams, grams to moles, and you're going to have to just pay attention. You have 2 moles of over 1 mole of. Just make sure you're paying attention to those. I'd just like to throw that in as a bonus. So that is it. That is it for enthalpy. If you have any questions, please reach out before lab. I'm happy to answer anything before we go to lab. I'm happy to answer anything while we're in lab. Whatever you guys need, I'm here to help. All right. Good luck on enthalpy, you guys.